Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to today's episode. Ladies and gentlemen, coming in on a Wednesday, we come in hot, and we come in weird. On a Wednesday. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the kind of song you just get on that dance floor and you just start grinding. Maybe you do a little bit of drugs if you're into that sort of thing. But make sure you get consent. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Okay, listen. Welcome. Did you guys deserve that on a fucking Wednesday? If you've been around for a while, you deserve that. You deserve that last week. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Okay, welcome. It's great to have you here. Round episode 152, fight. Listen, we've been at this for a minute now, okay? We've been at this for a minute, and every day, 1% better, okay? It's fine. It's fine. You know what I never understood about 1% better? I don't think you can get 1% better. Like after a certain while, it just starts turning into a fraction of that 1% better. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't work that way anymore. Once you get to 100%, are you 100% better in 100 days? Because those next 100 days are going to come at you hot and heavy on a Monday. And then it's going to get weird on a Wednesday when it's like day 500 and you're not 500% better than you were when you started, you know? So, listen, these are the questions we should be asking. Is what the fuck are we wasting our time with some of these metaphors that make no goddamn sense? All right? Listen, you will not determine when I use my sound effects. I'll have a whole goddamn episode just like this. Oh yeah. Get sexy. Asian words. Stop Asian hate. I didn't even mean to put this one on. All right. The fuck are we doing with our life? Okay, this used to be a goddamn podcast. Now it's like a fucking free audio session at Guitar Center. That's where I first started learning. Listen, here is my adventure into learning audio production and video production for those who give a shit. Listen, I get questions, people want to do podcasts, figuring out some of this, a little bit of tinkering. That's all it is. This is literally how you get good at anything in life. You just do that and be terrible at it for a while. And then every day you get 1% better. Callbacks, ladies and gentlemen. I keep them on deck. Okay? But when I first started getting into the audio production was when I was living in Puerto Rico. And I literally just wanted to record music. Once my sister and I made a joke birthday song for my mom, I was like, oh, I love this shit. I could spend all fucking day just making songs, and I enjoyed it so much. And it literally was just like, okay, well, I'm starting on a gaming mic, and now this shit just isn't doing it for me. I need to up that quality. 1% every day. Keep up. And I remember I went to Best Buy and bought this USB mic. And then, of course, one day you literally just start Googling stuff. I'm like, okay, well, how are people sounding more professional? Oh, what is a compressor? Oh, what's an equalizer? Oh, what's echo and reverb? Obviously, I know what echo is. Keep up. Listen, I can do my own goddamn sound effects if I want. The robots don't own me yet. All right. But yeah, I remember it was out of necessity where I was like, I got to learn how to produce this shit because I have negative money. So I have to learn how to produce all this shit. I can't hire someone to do my audio production, and I can't hire someone to film this music video. So I literally just kept Googling shit. That's the greatest thing about the internet is while there is so much dumb shit on the internet, it's an amazing resource for people who do want to learn how to do anything. All it is investing time in it, you know? But it's funny, I bring up Guitar Center. I literally wasted so much goddamn money at Guitar Center thinking that those kids in the back actually knew what the fuck they were talking about. It was like, you ever read that book, Flowers for Algernon? That book to me had such an impression. I don't know why I loved it so much. Maybe it's because there's a goddamn mouse in it and I got an affinity for rodents, okay? Shout out to Ratfink. That was like my childhood pet. Don't ask me what happened to Ratfinka. It was an emergency hysterectomy, okay? And it didn't end well. I was 7 years old. I shouldn't have been performing that delicate of a surgery without supervision and without a proper license to execute this. Listen, we've had about 3 strokes in 2 sentences, okay? Keep up. It could be because I'm drinking goddamn pre-workout out of my NASA cup. It's goddamn rocket fuel right now, okay? We're fucking fired up. Keep up. Flowers for Algernon. It was a book about a slow person, I believe had some kind of learning disability. And a scientist was doing experiments on this young man. We'll call him Billy. I don't remember the name. But there also was a mouse named Algernon. And they were running experiments on Algernon, and they're finding out that with these experiments, I forgot what they were giving, but it would make Algernon, the mouse, a lot smarter. He could do all these mazes and everything. And then they were like, well, let's do human trials on fucking Billy. And then Billy, with these experiments, becomes the smartest person in the world. And Algernon also, like their stories are running parallel, but Algernon's a little bit ahead. And this book came out about 40 years ago, it had to be. So I'm not spoiling this for you. But Algernon started to degrade over time. And what I always thought was so cool about this book was that it started off as Billy's journal. So all the spelling was messed up. There was grammar. There were grammar errors and all these issues and the misspelled words. And as he started getting smarter and smarter, the words got better. It was just a cute little thing that the writer did, you know? But then ultimately, you start seeing Algernon deteriorate. He starts getting aggressive and everything. And it ends up that Algernon ends up passing away. Rest in peace. And the flowers are for Algernon. That's the whole boom of the book. And the reason why you're like, Evan, why the fuck are you bringing this up right now? Oh, I'll feed you, baby birds. Hold on. That's how I felt going to Guitar Center. Well, before that, in the book, there was people that Algernon looked up to, where he thought they were the smartest people in the world. In all the worlds that were out there, they were the smartest. He would think that they were just like, oh my God, looked up to him so much, when he was in a less smart stage of his life. And then he, you know, as he got more intelligent, he caught up to them, and then he just blew the fuck past them. And I remember there was even like a girl he was infatuated in, and then like there was a breakdown where it was like, she's like, I can't even keep up with you. I feel so inferior, all this stuff. And I had that experience in Guitar Center, where when I first came back from Puerto Rico, I was like, okay, I got to get an audio interface. I got to get a condenser microphone, a dynamic. And I just like, I wanted to learn everything. I wanted to learn about mic cables. And I remember going to Guitar Center and listening to these dudes. I remember this dude was like, yeah, I've been playing guitar and producing music for like 6 years. And I'm just like a year in, and I'm like, holy shit, this is fucking Simon and Garfunkel right in front of me. And I'm like, what was Tupac like, you know? And I remember just listening to everything they said and buying whatever they said. It was gospel to me. I was in a goddamn cult, like it was Waco, Texas. And I would buy all this dumb shit. I'd buy the audio interface. I'd buy the mic, they would say. I'd buy the cables, they would say. Just here, take my goddamn money. It's a credit card. I don't have to pay it back, you know? And there was a point where I outgrew everything I was using. And by actually talking to like real music producers and having studio sessions and all this stuff, I realized when I went back to Guitar Center like a few years later, I wanted to check out some product, and I started talking to them, just like a little banter back and forth. And I started talking to them about certain things. And I went in for like a free Pro Tools session. When I already knew Pro Tools, I'd already taken a class on it and everything. I was just like, well, let me see if I can learn something. I knew so much more about audio production and Pro Tools and everything like that than these like experts, the professionals did at Guitar Center. And then it made me realize, like, because I would ask them questions about different things, and then they would say basically what was on the magazine, what was on the box. And I'd be like, yeah, well, what does it work with this and if this level? They were like, I don't know, I gotta go. And I'm like, oh, you guys, I'm fucking Algernon. I'm Algernon, and you're gonna get flowers for me because I blew past y'all with my goddamn science experiment. That wasn't even a joke. Please don't think I meant that as what it was supposed to be. Okay? Okinawa. That's the only lyric I know from that audio. But that was my experience. Okay, that was flowers for Algernon. And that was the thing for if you're learning how to do something. The great thing about the internet is that there's so many people that are so far ahead. It has never been a better time to be a creative person. No matter what you do, everything is at your fingertips. The shit you can produce on your phone, it's mind-boggling, okay? You can do so much shit without ever leaving the goddamn toilet. You know, you could produce a song start to finish while you're on the toilet. It is what it is, okay? And it's a goddamn beautiful thing. And what's also crazy is there's still people who are just like, oh, I don't know where to start. I don't know what to do. Maybe Google. Google's your best friend. Maybe just figure out what you want to do and learn how to do it. Because that's like what the longevity is in everything that you do, is learning how to do it on your own, and you don't need anybody's help. You're not at the mercy of other people. That's why sometimes I struggle with, at this stage of stand-up that I'm on, because, you know, before the pandemic, listen, there's no way to complain about anything that happened to me during the pandemic. Really isn't. Your boy fell upstairs during the pandemic. Came out better in a lot of situations than going in. But one of those things, you know, that happened was the week before the pandemic started. That was the first, the 2 weeks leading up. It was the first time I had something like 8 or 9 shows in a 2-week period. And I remember, listen, that number's going to grow with a legend over time. It's going to be like that first 2 weeks when the pandemic shut down. I had 47 shows booked, you know, at Levity, the Comedy Store. I'm just going to make up all these places. I was performing for the president. Like, you know, as time goes on, you got to fucking exaggerate. But I had a shit ton of shows, the most I've ever had in my entire career. And I remember being like, I'm on my way. But the pandemic hits, and it just like, and then all that stage time and everything and jokes and the loosey-goosey. That's the cool thing about now is I'm starting to, you know, I got my bones, the bones of a set, what my main shit is, set. And then I'm starting to, you know, because I got the rust off of them and everything. And I'm starting to go back and remember certain bits and like going through my notes. And I'm like, oh yeah, I had this bit. That was like an 8-minute bit that I had worked on for a couple of years. Now it's like, you know, it's still a good bit. And I had thought before during the pandemic, I was like, no one is going to want to hear some stupid jokes after the pandemic. Because I was so locked in the pandemic that I was like, people aren't going to want to hear these dumb jokes about 23andMe and blah, blah, blah. Life has changed forever as we know it. And I kept thinking that I was going to burn all my material that I had before and only come up with new stuff because the landscape had changed so much. But as time goes on, and now it almost seems like people don't want even any more jokes about the pandemic. It's all either it was done so much in the beginning, or it's like, dude, we're fucking tired of hearing about the pandemic. Tell me how you think you're a goddamn Indian from 23andMe, you know? Native American, Squanto, all right? But it was just an interesting thing, and I'm happy because of it, because I had about 7-8 minutes of pandemic material, and I just kind of burned it. I was just like, I don't really want to talk about this anymore, and I'm tired of it, and I think the audience is tired of hearing about it, and it's dated. It's dated like jokes about Bin Laden, bars. But yeah, the point I was making is going all the way back in this rabbit hole, is that before the pandemic, I was starting to catch a stride with doing shows all the time, weekly shows, and not really doing, like, having to do mics as much. And now I moved to a completely new area where there's a overabundance of comedians. And the great thing is, this is the great thing, there are very good comedians here at all levels. And it's something that I love, being around the best of the best. And, I still think that New York and Los Angeles have the best comedians, hands down right now, just a numbers game. And I think New York has kind of had the best joke writers, from like Mark Norman, Dave Attell, Jesselnick. I think that they're such joke writers. And I feel like the West Coast has kind of always been a focus on storytelling. And I think Austin it can't compete with LA or New York right now. But what it does is it has the most excitement and like a bubbling group of comedians. Right now, it's like in an infancy. It's as if you were making a fucking loaf of bread. It's just all the fucking, I don't know how to make bread. It's a yeast infection right now. You're just getting in there, and it's all moist, and things are bubbling and gurgling, and it's mixing around. But I think that's where Austin is right now. And it's like a hungry scene. And I love it. I love it because it makes you get better. It makes you get better when people take things serious. And everybody kind of has this whole big picture mentality from the comedians that I've been around. And I like it, and it's just going to make me a better comedian. But the point I was going to make is that I'm back at square one here, because, it takes time to meet everybody and to get in with a community and a scene. But there's so much that you can be doing outside of it. And that's kind of where my focus has been. While it's important to get stage time and everything and perform as much as possible, you gotta get up. You gotta do more than just that. You gotta put out videos. You gotta do skits. You gotta build an audience online, because that's all it is. Once you have that, you can perform. If you can draw a crowd, you can perform. And that's why, that's why I'm opening up an OnlyFans account. Okay, listen, all foot pictures at the end of the day. Listen, anybody can want a hot pair of feet. Is that the right way to say that? A hot set of feetsies, But not everybody has these hobbit feet that I got. Okay, listen. Mine look like they're more at home on a goddamn bridge troll. Okay? Something from the past. I could probably stand in for like a National Geographic caveman episode. Okay? Just close-ups of my feet, okay? And I'm good with it. I'm excited for it. I love it. I welcome it. But yeah, that's why I think with the internet, it's a great thing. I think it's kind of, the game has changed, and it was something that I kind of pushed back against. I kind of had, there's always purists, and I know we've talked about this on the podcast before about, how you got to develop your own audience online and everything and use all the tools to your disposal. And then you have like an old guard of comedians who try to be like, I'm a purist, I'm just going to do it on stage. There's so much left to luck and chance and gatekeepers if you just want to do it that way. And it's like the amount of grind and time that you need to do that. It's just like, shit, I got shit to do. I got pigeons to feed. I got birds to watch. I got barbecue to eat. I got chicken wings to eat. I have boneless wing protests to go to. I can't just be sitting around waiting for someone to help me out, or someone to discover me. What is it, the 1960s? You're going to be a star, kid. Yeah, get this drug problem. I mean, I'll take a drug problem. I don't give a shit. Dude, something that happened last night. So much fun. Listen, here has been the hard side of moving to a new city, especially one like Austin. And I say hard part in quotations. Because it's nothing like Los Angeles. You try to find parking in downtown Los Angeles, you're going to have a bad time, okay? There was some neighborhoods like around the Hollywood Improv and everything. You could find parking. It wasn't bad at all. I actually liked it. Even Fourth Wall, some of the other spots in LA that I would go to. The Comedy Store always had to pay for parking, usually $15. But I mean, even with that, my drive to the Comedy Store was about 90 minutes, and I would try to go there at least once a week, a couple times a week. But it was 90-minute drive, so 3 hours at plus $15 parking. In downtown Austin, if I can sometimes find free parking, and then it's a 20 to 30-minute drive for me, and I can just have to walk sometimes. Sometimes you have to drive around for 10 or 15 minutes to try to find a spot. And here's what sucks. I've had it where I drove around for 10 or 15 minutes trying to find a spot. Sometimes I think it was like 25 minutes. Got to the place I was going to perform, got there late, couldn't get on. And then I have to walk all the way back, 10, 15 blocks. So last night I go to this spot, this open mic, spot is filled up. So I'm like, shit. So, and a couple other comedians, they're like, we're going to walk over here. So I'll walk with them. Told me it was a couple blocks away, ends up being a little further. But here's the beautiful thing. I go to this other spot. I believe it's called The Parlor. Shout out on Rainy Street. Dope spot. I've never been there before. But I get there for a few hours, hanging out, watching the show. Your boy has to walk back. I'm exhausted at this point. 20, 25-minute walk. I'm like, I don't want to really do this. I've been eyeballing these things for a while, okay? These goddamn bird scooters. These Lime scooters, to be exact. I've been eyeballing them because the last time I was in downtown Austin, I had to walk like 10, 15 blocks. I said, let me just download this app. And then I had to put my credit card information because I just want to see how much it was. I didn't end up using it, but last night I said, let me just open this app, okay? Baby steps. Gotta feed me myself like a baby bird sometimes. I'll open this goddamn app. Apple Pay. Well, I got Apple Pay. Let me just put it in. Oh, okay. Find a Lime scooter. Oh, I'm walking, a block. I find this goddamn Lime scooter. Well, let me just see how easy it is to activate this thing. Open a QR reader. Oh, okay. Well, there it is. Boom. The scooter turns on. My willy starts tingling. Listen, you don't know excitement and love. Then when you start cruising on a scooter downtown. Ladies and gentlemen, I have never felt so goddamn alive in my entire goddamn life than when I was just flying through downtown. Fucking breeze in my hair. People checking me out as I just ride by. Ladies and gentlemen, listen. That was the greatest experience of my life, okay? Greatest experience of my life. Riding a goddamn Lime scooter through downtown Austin. What would have taken me like 15, 20 minutes to get back to my car, this shit took me 4 minutes and 53 seconds. And I took the scenic route. I got out there, man. I just started looking. Just started feeling myself. Taking in all the scenes. Now listen. Something happens to a man when he gets on a scooter. Your willy starts tingling. Your balls just start enlarging. Okay? Plums. Let the boy watch. Listen, that got ridiculous. I know it did. Okay, and I don't apologize. But I've been judgmental of the bird scooters. I have. Because I've seen them. I've seen them for years, even in LA and everything. And I'm like, what fucking dorks are riding around here on a goddamn scooter? And it broke me down over the past couple months of being in Austin, having to walk 10 or 15 blocks. And now I'm just afraid that I'm just going to ride a scooter every goddamn day that I'm in Austin. Because not only what is it fun, but it optimized my time downtown so much. I went from hating these things to being their best friend, to the point where I'm like, fuck, do I buy my own scooter and just bring it downtown, have my own sticker on it and shit? But it was glorious. It was glorious, ladies and gentlemen, okay? And I'll never apologize for who I am, because now I'm someone who rides a bird scooter. If only California Evan could see me now. That's the word you can't use here. It's funny. This is the funniest part about Austin. This is what Austin is. It's as if when you move here, you forget that you moved from California or other places. There's not many people from Austin here. And if you are from Austin, and you're proud of it, why the fuck did you never leave your hometown? Okay, listen, that's what it comes down to. It's like, I've seen people, be like, Austin native, an Austinite, I'm fucking 100% pure. I'm a fucking 100% pure Austinite native. It's in my blood, 100% home, and they wear the 100% born and bred. Listen, it's cute. It's cute. But that's the 1% of people who say, don't California my Texas. Listen, I saw, even driving from California to Texas, don't California my Arizona. Okay, Arizona, we're getting a little too cocky. Okay, Arizona. Okay, fucking hell on earth. Fucking scorched earth. Y'all should be trying to Alaska, Arizona with your fucking 120 degree summers. Okay, and you guys don't have a beach to cool off at. So cool it with the whole don't California my Arizona. Y'all should probably California it a little more. Okay? Don't California my Arizona. Step the fuck off, California. Okay? And that's the thing. I know I've talked about this before. But California got weird because we just invited everyone in. Everybody with the mental illness that thinks you want to be a star. Come to Hollywood. Try your luck. Luck be a lady tonight. I know that's Vegas, but it works for the bit. Keep up. Don't California my Texas. Listen, California didn't even want to California at the end of the day. Okay? It was all the people from all the other states that came here and were like, let's turn this into a fucking imagination land where all the rules and reality don't exist because we have way too much money from playing pretend. Listen, I might get weird too with what I think reality is and ideology. If I got paid $20 million to dress up as a goddamn pirate, and play pretend all day, it would bleed over to real life a little bit, And that wasn't a dig at Jack Sparrow. I love Johnny Depp. But Leonardo DiCaprio flies all over the world preaching about Greenpeace and shit. He better be fueling those jets with goddamn McDonald's fry oil, right? What about those emissions? What's going on there? Do you guys remember Pimp My Ride? You remember that one time They made like a... Dude, Pimp My Ride was the weirdest fucking show. It was the greatest thing to watch at fucking from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. as a teenager. You just go to MTV, MTV2. You see on the fucking channel list, what was that, TV guide, and it would show Pimp My Ride, Pimp My Ride, Pimp My Ride, Pimp My Ride, Rob Dyrdek, Fantasy Factory, Robin Big. And you're like, oh, it's going to be a great fucking day. Cancel my fucking plans, you know? And you were just going to watch back to back to back episodes of Pimp My Ride. It's funny now watching those episodes when you realize how fake they are. Like Exhibit would show up to your door and you would already be mic'd up. And you'd be like, oh my God, what are you doing here? Like knowing how TV works now, it's like, oh, they had to sign so much paperwork. They vetted this person. They vetted the car. They had to do so much stuff. There was no way you could pretend like it wasn't what it was when Exhibit showed up. But they put so much shit in cars that made no goddamn sense. Like there was even all those memes. It was like, hey, we found out you like fish, so we put a fucking fish tank with a fish fryer and some fucking fish nets with French fries. And you're like, dude, how am I supposed to get to fucking work with this Corolla now? How am I supposed to hold a stable job when I got to be worried about my goddamn fish cooking in the sun in the parking lot of Wendy's? I remember they took a Hummer or something like that and they made it fuel efficient with the guy. Like the guy was like, I work at Shakey's. And so they made his car run on French fry grease. He was like, dude, now I got to smell this shit on the way to work. Because here's the thing. You work at one of those restaurants. I remember like working at Applebee's and everything. There were certain smells that I just didn't want to be around anymore because it reminded me of work. And now that dude has to drive to a job he hates, smelling the French fries, smell the French fries while he's at work, and then smelling the French fries when he gets home. And then if he had, God forbid, you had the AC running, it was just going around and around and around in the car. Now you got to smell like all your clothes are at home. And you smell like those goddamn French fries. All because Exhibit wanted to fucking pimp your ride. Like, why didn't they ask questions like, do you have a bad back? Hey, man, you got a bad back? So we put a fucking therapeutic chair in your car for your dog. Why the fuck not do that? Oh, you just mentioned in passing that you like Slurpees. So we put a fucking Slurpee machine in your trunk. I'm crazy. And they would put the craziest rims and everything on there. Hey man, I know you were getting 35 miles per gallon, but with these new rims, you about to get 13. I actually saw one of those cars listed for sale in the Penny Saver. That's how fucking old I am. But it was in the Penny Saver, and it was a Pimp My Ride car, and the dude was trying to sell it for cheaper than what the car was worth. If I got a Pimp My Ride car, I would just sell everything individually, get my car back to level 1. But at the time, I wouldn't even think about it. I'd be like, oh yeah, it would be dope to have a fucking fish tank in the car. Until you got to feed them, until you got to clean that thing, they're not going to send someone monthly, you know? These are the great mysteries of the world, ladies and gentlemen, okay? Why? Why would you do that, Exhibit? Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for joining me on this episode. Oh yeah.
It's been sexy. It's been real.
But it's been real
sexy.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Thank you for joining me. Don't forget to tip your waitresses. Be good to each other. Love each other. Make love. Even if you've been together for a while, you gotta make love still. Okay? You gotta flip it over, get weird. Get all in there. Try some new things. Get weird with it. Spit in each other's mouth. Why not? Get funky. All right? Slap it around them. See if they're into that, you know? Get slapped around. Maybe get choked. Lose a little bit of oxygen to your brain. It's worth a shot, okay? rekindle it. And remember, no matter what, ladies and gentlemen, I still love you.